We asked a doctor, a principal and a professor for their take
Sounds like the start of a limerick, doesn't it? Walked into a bar. Maybe not.
on a social media ban for under 16s.
Well, I'm delighted, to be quite frank.
An approach that aims to research what options are is probably better than leaping straight into a ban.
A ban goes too far.
Dr Manish Deva works with our youngest New Zealanders.
In our clinics, we're seeing children with debilitating anxiety. On our wards, we're now regularly admitting adolescents with psychological distress, and we've seen a doubling of our self-harm presentations to emergency departments.
The most harmful things are that high-end abuse and trolling. Pushing through into the bullying space.
But this communications professor believes a ban would affect equity.
If you're different, if you're gay, if you're an immigrant, you have a different relation to social media. It's the only space where you can be seen.
The National Party initially put the ban forward as a private members' bill, leaving it up to chance for when it would be drawn and debated. But in the last 20...
Have you ever thought, Chewie, about David Seymour having a heart? Has that thought ever crossed your mind? Oh, you might be pleasantly surprised tonight then.
4 hours, the Prime Minister's changed tack, asking for options to be brought to Cabinet so it can become law before the end of this parliamentary term.
We'd vote no, trying to rush through something not slapdash and not well thought out, which is really what we saw with last.
What, you mean like cancelling equity, pay equity, slapdash, not like that, like trying to rush that through? You'd never do that, would you, David?
School lunches.
School lunches, never.
False start.
We're also obviously open to talking to other political parties.
David Seymour wants a public inquiry. The Prime Minister, though, is giving Education Minister Erica Stanford the job of investigating how it could become a government bill.
We owe it to our kids to at least try.
But it's not a competition to show who cares the most about our kids.
Well, because you'd never win that.
Yes, we don't.
If it was a competition, David, you're coming last. So probably good for you to not say, hey. It's like the fastest kid at school comes up and I'm like, but we're not going to have a running race to decide who gets it. Because we're not.
The most about our kids.
We see the overwhelming body of evidence is that our children are being harmed.
Yep.
And those social media companies do not give.
Yes, sir, you're going to say?
So they like evidence on this one.
So they do. And they're concerned about
this issue.
They're concerned about harm. Now, all that other stuff that they've done that's harmed, whether it's school lunches or whether it's changes to the financial security of children's mothers, or whether it's not allowing people as much into spaces if they lose their homes. None of those harms have been high enough on their agenda to cause change. But apparently for some reason, some might say a distractionary reason, Chewie, because we're coming up to a budget and we want to be able to have parents say, oh, look at that government doing so well to protect our kids. All of a sudden, harm and evidence are the things we're looking for.
A damn about our kids.
We, all have soft hearts.
Oh,
prove it. How soft?
We all have soft hearts, Chewie. We all have soft hearts. And then he goes and glitches out, apparently, because something happened to the wiring in the back of his head.
Damn about our kids.
We, all have soft hearts, but we've got to make sure the softness in our hearts doesn't extend up to our heads.
While there are differing views,
you can just tell he has never once in his life tried to draw an analogy about empathy with the heart. Because you don't want the soft heart to give you a soft head. I mean,
this needs to be tested scientifically. I want David Seymour's heart and his brain on my desk by end of week, and I will poke both and see which is softer.
About our kids.
We, all have soft hearts, but we've got to make sure the softness in our hearts doesn't extend up to our heads.
While there are differing views inside and out of Parliament, there's a lot of work ahead to find the best way to protect our young people.
I think it's adorable that our government thinks that they are going to be able to get the social media platforms to go along with this, and they haven't been able to get the social media platforms to go along with anything else before. Like, there's already T's and C's specifying an age. You just change your birthday.
Yep.
Like, how is it going to be enforced? How is it going to be proven? What are the mechanics of this? Like, and if we're talking about, oh, well, you know, kids are being harmed by social media, and I have no doubt that they are, why aren't we talking about anybody else in our society? Facebook has turned our older generation's brains into fucking soup. They'll believe anything.
Good point.
So are they going to be protected? You know, social media is full of scams, just outright fake news, fake articles with AI generated pictures. Like, you could not do that on mainstream television in New Zealand or in newspapers or in advertising, because we have laws against that. It is the wild fucking west on every social media platform. The government can't do anything about it. So you're left with the self-reporting tools on those social media platforms. And we all know what happens there. You submit a report. It's reviewed by an AI that goes, fuck it, I can't see anything wrong with this. It's a literal call to violence against this section of society. Doesn't breach our community standards. So why is this going to be different in any other way? Like, this is the government want a nice, easy win here. We care about kids, and as you said, Pat, it's an undeniable truth that social media has negative effects for a lot of kids.
Yeah,
but it's also a really useful tool for connecting people as well. So, do you chuck the baby out with the bathwater?
I mean, like, I hear that, and look, I think that in living in today's day and age, that is correct. But there has always been small marginalised groups of teenagers that have also found community in other ways. I didn't play the TV3 story because I wanted to talk about David Seymour's heart. But on the TV3 story, I think they're talking to a psychologist, making the links towards extreme anxiety and bullying and that kind of stuff as well. I'll be real blunt now as a parent and stuff. Social medias are the devil for teenagers. They just are the devil for teenagers. So I absolutely support the idea of helping our kids get away from, get off of, because I don't think they've got the resilience. I think that the lecturer today was talking about, like that we heard in the story, talking about, you know, kind of in this day and age, we need to teach kids how to use it. I don't believe the kids can have the resilience to handle this kind of thing, just like our 14-year-olds shouldn't and can't have the resilience to have a six-pack of beer. I just think they can't. And so I'm about finding an answer to this solution. I just don't know how they can do it. And I don't know, because even if I already know that even with my idea, so your older brother logs you in and then you're using your older brother's account. You know, I know there's get arounds, but I support the conversation at the very least.
Yeah, and so do I.